Working in constant current regulator vaults presents several potential dangers. These include electromagnetic field exposure, electrical hazards, heat exposure, and the risks associated with confined spaces. Constant current regulators, or CCRs, generate strong magnetic and electric fields. Prolonged exposure to high levels of electromagnetic fields has been linked to potential health effects. These include headaches, fatigue, sleep disturbances, cognitive impairments, and an increased risk of cancer, although the evidence for the latter is not conclusive. CCR or high-voltage equipment. Improper handling can lead to electrical shocks or burns. These units can generate significant heat, making vault conditions uncomfortable and potentially hazardous. CCR vaults are typically small and enclosed, posing a risk of suffocation or other accidents in the event of an emergency. To mitigate these risks, several safety precautions should be implemented. Firstly, minimize the time spent in the CCR vault and maintain a safe distance from the equipment. Secondly, use personal protective equipment or PPE. Wear appropriate clothing and gloves to protect against electrical hazards. Thirdly, regularly check the temperature and ventilation in the vault to ensure a safe environment. Fourthly, observe all safety procedures established for the vault, including proper grounding and lockout-tagout practices. If any unusual symptoms are experienced after exposure to electromagnetic fields, it is advisable to consult a qualified healthcare professional. The scientific evidence linking electromagnetic field exposure to health effects is still evolving. Some studies have suggested potential risks, while others have found no clear associations. The World Health Organization considers electromagnetic field exposure from CCR to be within acceptable levels for the general public. The International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection has established exposure guidelines for both electric and magnetic fields, which are generally considered protective. Currently, there is no scientific evidence to support the effectiveness of electromagnetic field protective or blocker products. These products often make unsubstantiated claims and may provide a false sense of security. In conclusion, while potential hazards are associated with working in constant current regulator vaults, these can be minimized by following appropriate safety precautions. The scientific evidence on the health effects of electromagnetic fields from CCR is still inconclusive, but it is important to be aware of the potential risks and take steps to protect oneself. Remember that working with electrical equipment requires strict adherence to safety protocols. Always ensure that the equipment is properly grounded, and lockout-tagout procedures are followed to prevent accidental energization during maintenance or inspection. The use of appropriate personal protective equipment is essential to minimize the risk of electrical shock or burns. This includes insulated gloves, safety glasses, and appropriate clothing. Heat exposure can also pose a significant risk in CCR vaults. Proper ventilation is crucial to maintain a safe and comfortable working environment. Regularly monitor the temperature in the vault and take steps to improve ventilation if necessary. Confined spaces present unique challenges. Ensure that proper procedures are in place for entering and working in confined spaces, including atmospheric testing and ventilation. Always be aware of the potential for oxygen deficiency or the presence of hazardous gases. Regular safety training is essential for all personnel working in CCR vaults. This training should cover all potential hazards and the appropriate safety precautions to take. It is also important to stay informed about the latest research and recommendations regarding electromagnetic field exposure. When working with constant current regulators, it is important to understand the specific characteristics of the equipment. These regulators are designed to provide a constant current output, regardless of variations in the load impedance. This is essential for ensuring the proper operation of runway and taxiway lighting systems. The voltage output of a CCR can vary depending on the load impedance. It is important to be aware of the potential for high voltage exposure and take appropriate precautions. The current output of a CCR is typically adjustable, allowing for different lighting intensities. Be sure to use calibrated equipment for measuring current and voltage to make sure readings are accurate. CCR are often equipped with various protection features, such as overcurrent protection and overvoltage protection. These features are designed to prevent damage to the equipment and ensure safety. Regular maintenance is essential for ensuring the safe and reliable operation of CCR. This includes inspecting the equipment for any signs of damage or wear, and performing necessary repairs or replacements. Keep a detailed record of all maintenance activities. When troubleshooting CCR, it is important to follow proper procedures. Always to energize the equipment before performing any work, and use appropriate test equipment to identify the source of the problem. Consult the manufacturer's documentation for specific troubleshooting instructions. Electromagnetic fields are generated by the flow of electric current. The strength of the electromagnetic field is proportional to the current and the distance from the source. The electromagnetic fields from CCR are typically strongest near the equipment itself. As the distance from the equipment increases, the strength of the electromagnetic field decreases. There are different types of electromagnetic fields, including electric fields and magnetic fields. Electric fields are created by voltage, while magnetic fields are created by current. Both electric fields and magnetic fields can interact with the human body. The potential health effects of electromagnetic field exposure are still being studied. Some studies have suggested that prolonged exposure to high levels of electromagnetic fields may be associated with an increased risk of certain health problems, such as cancer. However, other studies have found no clear association. It is important to be aware of the potential risks of electromagnetic field exposure and take steps to minimize your exposure. This can include limiting your time spent near sources of electromagnetic fields, maintaining a safe distance from equipment, and using shielding materials. The International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection has established exposure guidelines for both electric and magnetic fields. These guidelines are based on scientific evidence and are designed to protect the public from the potential health effects of electromagnetic field exposure. These guidelines specify maximum exposure levels for different frequencies of electromagnetic fields. The World Health Organization also provides information on the potential health effects of electromagnetic field exposure. The WHO recommends that people take steps to minimize their exposure to electromagnetic fields, particularly at high frequencies. There is no scientific evidence to support the effectiveness of electromagnetic field protector or blocker products. These products often make unsubstantiated claims and may provide a false sense of security. It is important to rely on scientific evidence and establish safety guidelines when assessing the potential risks of electromagnetic field exposure. When working in CCR vaults, it is important to be aware of all potential hazards and take appropriate precautions. This includes electromagnetic field exposure, electrical hazards, heat exposure, and the risks associated with confined spaces. By following proper safety procedures, you can minimize the risks and ensure a safe working environment. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals if you have any concerns. The specific safety procedures and precautions may vary depending on the specific CCR vault and the equipment installed. It is important to consult with your employer and safety personnel to ensure that you are following the appropriate procedures. Staying informed about the latest safety guidelines and recommendations is also essential. This can help you to identify potential hazards and take steps to minimize your risk. Constant current regulators are a critical component of airport lighting systems. Ensuring their safe and reliable operation is essential for maintaining the safety of air travel. By following proper safety procedures and staying informed about potential hazards, you can help to ensure a safe working environment for yourself and your colleagues. In addition to the potential health effects of electromagnetic field exposure, electrical hazards, heat exposure, and confined spaces, there are other potential risks associated with working in CCR vaults. These include the risk of slips, trips, and falls, as well as the risk of exposure to hazardous materials. To minimize the risk of slips, trips, and falls, it is important to keep the CCR vault clean and organized. Be sure to clear any clutter or debris from walkways and work areas. Wear appropriate footwear with good traction. Be aware of any potential tripping hazards, such as uneven surfaces or cables. If you spill any liquids, clean them up immediately. Hazardous materials may be present in CCR vaults, such as oil, coolant, and cleaning solvents. These materials can pose a health risk if they are inhaled, ingested, or come into contact with the skin. Always read and follow the safety data sheets for any hazardous materials that you are using. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection, when handling hazardous materials. Ensure that the CCR vault is properly ventilated to prevent the buildup of hazardous vapors. Dispose of hazardous materials properly according to local regulations. In the event of an emergency, it is important to know how to respond. Be aware of the location of emergency exits and fire extinguishers. Know how to contact emergency services. If you are injured, seek medical attention immediately. It is also important to report any safety hazards or incidents to your supervisor. This can help to prevent future incidents from occurring. Working in CCR vaults can be challenging, but by following proper safety procedures and staying informed about potential hazards, you can minimize the risks and ensure a safe working environment. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals if you have any concerns. The goal of minimizing risk should be balanced against the practical aspects of maintaining operational efficiency and cost effectiveness. Every safety measure has a cost, both in terms of direct expenses and in terms of time and effort. It is important to carefully consider the costs and benefits of each safety measure to determine whether it is justified. In some cases, it may be possible to reduce the risk without incurring significant costs. For example, simply keeping the CCR vault clean and organized can reduce the risk of slips, trips, and falls. In other cases, more expensive measures may be necessary, such as installing new ventilation equipment or providing additional safety training. The decision of which safety measures to implement should be based on a careful assessment of the risks and the costs and benefits of each measure. It is also important to involve workers in the decision-making process. Workers are often the best source of information about potential hazards and the effectiveness of different safety measures. By involving workers in the decision-making process, you can improve the effectiveness of your safety program and create a safer working environment. It is crucial to regularly review and update safety procedures to ensure that they reflect the latest knowledge and best practices. Changes in technology, regulations, or operating conditions may necessitate revisions to existing safety protocols. Continuous improvement is essential for maintaining a safe and effective workplace. Encourage workers to report any concerns or suggestions for improving safety. Create a culture of safety where everyone feels empowered to speak up without fear of reprisal. Invest in ongoing training and education to ensure that workers have the knowledge and skills necessary to perform their job safely. The electrical system in a CCR vault should be inspected regularly by a qualified electrician. This inspection should include a visual examination of all wiring, connections, and equipment. The electrician should also test the system to ensure that it is operating properly. Any problems that are found should be corrected immediately. The ventilation system in a CCR vault should also be inspected regularly. This inspection should include a visual examination of all ducts, fans, and filters. The system should be tested to ensure that it is providing adequate ventilation. Any problems that are found should be corrected immediately. The emergency lighting system in a CCR vault should be tested regularly. This test should ensure that the system is functioning properly and that the batteries are fully charged. Any problems that are found should be corrected immediately. The fire detection and suppression system in a CCR vault should be inspected and tested regularly by a qualified technician. This inspection and test should ensure that the system is functioning properly. Any problems that are found should be corrected immediately. Proper grounding is crucial for electrical safety in CCR vaults. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault currents to return to the source, which helps to protect workers from electrical shock hazards. All electrical equipment in the CCR vault should be properly grounded. The grounding system should be inspected regularly to ensure that it is in good condition.